Hello, everybody. I'm immigration lawyer John Kasravi. Thank you for joining us today. It's Tuesday, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. We come here every week to take your questions live about U.S. immigration law on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and LinkedIn. It's general educational kind of questions only, not intended for individual legal guidance. For that, we got to have a consultation in private. To set that up, you could just go to our website, jqqlaw.com/contact. Fill in the box there with your information, and we'll get back to you about scheduling a time. But we use this time to talk about the cases our office handles: family-based green card cases, consular processing, adjustment of status, extraordinary ability cases, EB-1A, for example, NIW, and small investor E2L1 kind of cases, and some random stuff, reentry permits, what's going on in the immigration system and in the news. We don't handle court cases, humanitarian cases like asylum, so we can't be much advice on that one. But we're here to take your questions every week for 5 years now. Episode number 296. We're getting to 300 soon. We've had more episodes. I just started counting at a certain time. So there's a lot of these out there, hundreds and hundreds of hours. Everything you're going to ask, I have a question answered on that particular thing on our YouTube page. Thousands of clips there too on our clips channel as well. So it's all there, but sometimes people don't want to look or it's hard to find because there's so many videos. I understand. That's why you come here live. And so you get to know me as well, what I'm about, and our mission here at the JQK Law Firm. If you'd like to hire us, and that to help out. Now, if you're interested in a marriage green card case, we have a guide called the Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide. The website to download that free guide, 50 plus pages, is marriageimmigrationlaw.com. Again, that's marriageimmigrationlaw.com. And we just released the Ultimate Citizenship Naturalization Guide. That's also 50 plus pages. Go to our website, jqqlaw.com/citizenship. Fill the box there with your name and info, and it'll send you a PDF that has a breakdown of what's going on with citizenship before you even get started hiring an attorney. Get all the information that you need. So having said that, let's start the show. Morad is the first question. Morad asks, thanks for hosting this event. You're welcome. Can you briefly address what type of questions might be asked at a divorce waiver I-751 interview? Sure. I mean, they'll go into, a lot recently we've had them waived because we had such good evidence that they waived it. But going into how you met originally, where it was, how it was, what the day was, where you went to eat. And it's the same thing as a marriage kind of interview as well. And to go through the timelines, then talk about what happened, what was the timeline, things breaking up. So it's a lot of details, specific details about the creation of the relationship and destruction of the relationship and when things happen. The bigger problem that happens with divorce waiver cases is you need to have a divorce certificate. If you don't have that, they can't approve it many times. So that's the trouble that comes up. And have more, they still ask for bona fides, the relationship was real. So you need to have evidence that the relationship was real. And you might need personal statements if you don't have enough, or to explain certain other things. But it's not something that's to be worried about. If you have a solid case and you have an attorney who's done it before and is helpful and is paying attention, it's something that's doable. We do it regularly. I have a lot of videos on YouTube describing that particular scenario. Solomon asks, how long is too long for an IR1 visa? Well, Solomon, it depends. As an American citizen, okay, that answers one thing, but are you talking about the I-130 portion or the U.S. Embassy portion? Pinky asks, hi, if an E2 visa as an investor visa rejected, can that affect an F3 file USA visa interview? It depends on the reason why the E2 was rejected. If they're rejecting you because you have some sort of fraud in your history, then that's bad. But if they rejected it because they didn't think your business was viable, that's one thing. Now, when you say F3, do you mean adult married child of a U.S. citizen visa interview? So you got to clarify what these things are about. Thank you for joining. Feel free to shoot out your questions. TikTok is saying, encourage your viewers to share your live and invite more friends. Please share this feed so they can know about it and they can ask questions as well. Someone says, I filed a petition in May. Okay, so if you're a U.S. citizen, and I'm guessing you did a marriage case, 12, 14 months is pretty typical. So if you just filed in May, that's the 5th month. Now September, 9th month, 4 months. There's like really no place for you to be worrying about this stuff right now. If it goes past the 14, 15, 16 month mark, that's when it's taking too long. Born says, is the real ID for citizens only? No, not necessarily. Non-green card holders can get it, and some others can too. Cave Spartan says, LPR filed both I-130 and I-485 March 8, 2023. I-130 approved. Should I expect a decision? I'm not sure how an LPR filed both I-130 and I-485 in March 2023. I'm not sure I-485s are current for filing. So we schedule a consultation to go over the details of that. The visa bulletin did get updated soon, so that's going to be helpful. But I need to see what happened and check what the dates were and the visa bulletin dates were. I mean, I could do overwatching a little bit too, but let's see if I get through it. But when you should eventually be approved, there's no real timeline. There's cases where it should have taken an extra year, but it was approved immediately, and there's cases that should have been approved immediately, and they took an extra year. So should is a relative term. It means relative to nothing. Who knows with the way the immigration department is. Okay, so you're saying March 28th. We're assuming you're an F2A petition. Let's see. In March 2023, 2020. Oh, 2023. I'm sorry. Okay. But still 2023, I don't think it was current. So let's see. If the visa bulletin in fiscal year 2023 and March. So the month you filed it, the F2A was current. Okay, it was current. Okay. Oh, that's cool. Probably was right after that where it stopped. Okay, that makes sense. Should you get a decision? Probably, but you just never know with the immigration part and how long things are going to take. Yald asks, I have an ongoing TD visa application in advanced parole and AP administrative processing. I want to apply for EB2. Should I withdraw the TD visa application, or is it okay to have two applications? I mean, it's okay to have two applications, but inevitably they're going to probably deny the TD or not let you in if you have green card pending. Yeah, that's like very time and case specific, so we got to see what's going on. The fact that you have a TD, your name is Persian, so if you don't have a TD, so that means, are you a Canadian citizen yourself, or are you married to a Canadian citizen? Because if you don't have a Canadian passport yourself, that TD is just going to go nowhere. EB2, do you mean national interest waiver or not? Essentially, when you submit a petition getting started from I-140, that's going to call into question a temporary visa like a TN or a TD. So those are problems that could pop up. So you got to really analyze what timelines of these things, how it's going. Murad says, I sent 5 on divorce waiver question. How long after the finalization of divorce decree, USCIS might set up interview? That setting up the interview is not related to the divorce decree. They need to have that, but they could schedule an interview at any time they want. They could even deny your case without an interview. That's rare. Who knows on right now? So I'm going to ask, can there be a way to get my approved I-130 faster through a lawyer or something? Not necessarily. I mean, what the lawyer does is a lot of people, when they send stuff on their own, they just mess it up. And so that creates problems for delays. So a competent lawyer is going to just go through things and fill it out better and organize it better. So that's what makes it somewhat faster, because they're avoiding mistakes. But it really depends on the government how long they want to take. Molar Army says, will the U.S. consider a customary marriage valid if it is not recognized in the country of origin? If it's not a legal marriage, for most part, it's not. It depends on your country and what the laws say about your specific country. But if your home country doesn't recognize the marriage, most likely it's not acceptable. But again, it's case by case. We got to see what country you're from and what the custom is and all that kind of stuff. But if you're telling me it's not accepted by country, very, very unlikely it's acceptable. Mink says, hello, do we pay for I-485 application if I have VAWA approval and on removal proceedings? Yeah, you have to pay for it in court, which has an extra fee they just added if you're doing it in court too, so it's more expensive. Born says, if you get stopped, I don't handle too much VAWA on a day-to-day basis, so I'm not sure if there's a waiver of the fee for that, but I think you still have to pay. I'm not positive. Board 2RN, I think you've been here before, says, if you get stopped by immigration, what proof should you have on you if you're a U.S. citizen? Well, technically, you're not supposed to have any proof because U.S. citizens aren't supposed to carry proof of citizenship. But this is the government we're dealing with. I'm not carrying anything yet, but passport card is probably the best. The problem is they don't have a system to even check if that's correct. So you can have a fake one and they won't even know. So it's just stupid. Mink says, I applied to I-485 on removal, but they denied it. I want the receipt for court. So you got to talk to a removal attorney. We don't handle removal at our firm, so I don't want to give advice on a case I don't handle. Pinky says, I have my new birth certificate, both parents' names on it. My old one had no written mother name. Can I upload? Pinky, we got to see what was written on the birth certificate for registration date and what's changed. Because if you add it now, they'll say, well, I didn't have it on the original. So there's more to it that we need to corroborate. Maybe get some affidavits, maybe get other school records that list your mom, all this kind of stuff. And we also got to see what kind of case you have, what relationship is needed to show with the mother. So I can't tell you to upload something like that. I got to spend time going through all the loose ends of it. GT says, U.S. citizen parent sponsored adult unmarried child priority date. That's F1 category, priority 2018. Case at embassy, how long for green card? Well, that really depends on how long your current embassy is taking. So I don't know which embassy it is and how long they're going to take. But if you're an F1 adult unmarried child U.S. citizen, unless you're from the Philippines or Mexico, it's December 2014. So your priority date is 2018. It's gonna be years till unfortunately that happens. That's super backed up. Shoot, I didn't realize F1 was that backed up. It's terrible. So it's gonna take a lot more years. Lee says, how long is a bona fide on U visa taking? I don't know. We only do like one of these every 2 years. I have one right now we're just waiting for this in 4 months. We're still waiting for the receipt. It's kind of crazy. Other cases usually get receipts, but so if you file a case, you don't get a receipt within a month or two. Within a month is bad. For UVs and Zavawas, they take a long time, unfortunately. So I don't know, maybe a problem, but it's not abnormal for them to take this long. That happens, unfortunately. It's really annoying. Triple quadruple A says, are day one CBT universities okay to study? Technically, if they have accreditation and that relationship with the government to work with CVIS, yes, but I usually don't recommend people to do day one CBT because it could lead to problems potentially if it's not done right and if the government wants to call into question the legitimacy of the course. Stranger says, been 3 years and a half. My brother's I-45 is still waiting for a decision what to do. I don't know. Is your brother's case current? Does he have issues? Who filed the case? Where's your brother? What's his background? Strange, I don't know. So you had to schedule a consultation to see what's going on with your case in the first place, or your brother's case. Bourne says, thank you. You're welcome. Gilbert says, green card holder, divorce, can't travel for 2 weeks. Green card holder, divorce, can't travel for 2 weeks. I don't know why there's a worry or what's going on, who's who. So I can't answer that question, Gilbert. So Bashumar says, hi, my case does not pop up on the EOIR site. That happens sometimes. Try calling them maybe. 898 says, do you think they'll pass an immigration reform? That's what reform. That's why they're doing all these raids. This is politics. I don't think they're gonna do all the stuff they're doing right now. So no one's in a position to be able to answer any of those kind of questions about the future. And if I knew that, I'd be investing in the stock market and making money there. Let's see, been 3.5 years. Sorry, immigration. No, Gilberto, it's got to get more information, Gilberto. Stranger, we answer your question. Just repeat questioning. Johnny says, pending asylum with USCIS, have you ever applied for protection for deportation or exclusion? New York, we don't handle those cases, so I don't want to talk about it. It's not something I specialize in. The Chosen says, I've been put in a cop car for 5 minutes over a dispute, but no arrest. Is that material for denaturalization? Then it goes into, is that being detained or not detained? Was there paperwork? If it just says sit down here really quick, it's on the line. We got to get more info, get FOIA checks, background checks, fingerprints, FBI background checks, see what's all the system, ask the court at the police department if they have any records, just to make sure that's all good, and then answer that question. But I mean, it probably doesn't matter because if I just sit down and talk with you, it's probably not an issue. But to formally go over, that's all the stuff we got to do. I'll request a bunch of records and see what's in there. Mustafa says, I got my citizenship last year and I applied for my daughter 6 months ago, but no response from USCIS. Well, did you get a receipt for your I-130 petition to start? And you probably should have applied when you're a green card holder. It wasn't good to wait to citizenship. It was faster if you're a green card holder, unless she's married. Punisher says, any updates on the travel ban? My fiance is in a full ban country. Well, for Iranians, there's some exceptions if they're a minority. But no, if you're a citizen, there's an exception for that too, where you're not fiance visas, but for marriage cases. Now, if you're Iranian and your fiance is Iranian, there's a lawsuit that's happening right now to have fiancés be included on the travel ban exception list. But for most cases, we just say get married because fiance visas suck most of the time. Sly says, what's your fee for handling N600 for 2 children? I don't know. We got to analyze your documents. I've had N600K cases blow up in me where people have issues that were unexpected when they say just quote me a price, and then we have to spend twice as much work on it. So first we have a consultation and spend a little bit more time making sure what evidence you have of the U.S. relationship, time in the United States, and backgrounds, all that kind of stuff, and then we quote a fee. Gilberto says, I got my green card, but I divorced. Can I travel for 2 weeks for Africa? So, Gilberto, generally you can, but I don't know enough about your personal history. If you got your green card the right way, you fill out the forms right. If you have any arrests or criminal history, if you have any previous inadmissibility history for previous visa applications, what kind of work you do, what country you're really from, that could cause problems. If you have any military history, that's problematic. If you have any tax issues, that's problematic. If you talk about Israel in a bad way, if you talk about Charlie Kirk in the wrong way, I see he has 10 fingers so far. I can keep going. So these kind of questions, if it's okay or not, we got to sit and ask all these, and it takes half an hour usually to go through all of them. Even then, we got to get more documents, and I got to review your I-130s, I-45s, I-751s, previous DS-160s. The Chosen says, there's no arrest, no paperwork. They just talk to me. So if you just talk with you, then if it really is they just talk to you, it's like a random person talking to you. This shouldn't matter. I hear that they are processing I-130s a lot quicker. It's mixed bag, not really. Okay, as a reminder, if y'all want to schedule a private consultation, go to our website, jqklaw.com/citizenship. That's jqklaw.com/citizenship. And if you want to download the Ultimate Citizenship Naturalization Guide, go to our website, jqklaw.com/citizenship. And one more free guide, the Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide. People love this. We've given out thousands of these. It's 70 plus pages, really going to help you out. Go to marriageimmigrationlaw.com. That's marriageimmigrationlaw.com. Download the guide and get yourself started. Mahad asks, I applied for my work permit from I-765 and they sent me initial evidence and we send them no response. I sent you an RFE, I think that's what you mean, and then you submit it, it's still pending. Yeah, it's going to be pending. I mean, make sure it got delivered. Mir asks, hi, John, are there any changes for Trump's travel ban for Iranian green card spouse cases? No, but they have there's been a lawsuit that caused them to reveal their exceptions for minorities in Iran, religious and ethnic minorities. So that'll help out for your spouse, potentially. That's something to look into. The Chosen is, what is a material fact ground for denaturalization? I've been watching on YouTube and great. Thank you so much, Chosen. It's really has to do primarily with having arrests or criminal history that weren't included, or other immigration issues like inadmissibility issues that were included. For example, you had you've been convicted of an arrest and of a crime and you didn't tell them and you got citizenship, or you had issues with your prior. For example, you got the green card lottery. You won the green card lottery. You were married, but you didn't list your spouse. And you never brought it up, and then also you got your green card, you got citizenship, and they find out you're actually married. That means you didn't get the green card properly, and so they could denaturalize you. And asks, hi, John, now that the F2A made such a huge jump, what does it mean for wait times? I'm a green card holder. I applied for spouse, and priority date is May 2024. What's a range to expect full process? Honestly, there's no real range. It just depends on the government, how fast they want to work. I don't have an answer. Nobody really does have an answer for that. Sept says, ask me information about my date of birth, but issued. Let's see what's going on. Hi, I hope you're doing well. Should I disclose my N400 application? The officer issued ticket to my friend that was pulled over because I didn't wear my seatbelt. I didn't have ID, but the officer asked me for information. Did but issued a ticket along with to drive along. No other tickets for her. I mean, if you didn't get the ticket, then you didn't get the ticket. So you could do a background check or do some sort of state background check, see if there's something there. Vignesh says, my wife is from Iran. We are currently on the SEAC stage, National Visa Center. I have a joint co-sponsor for her who covers the poverty guidelines. But when doing my IA-64s, I need to do 2 years of prior taxes. But, well, if you have a joint sponsor, you don't have to file your taxes. I blocked out of my crypto account, and that is delaying my taxes. If I hurry up and do the taxes, might it be wrong? Will it be bad? The embassy may require you to file your taxes if you haven't, but it's up to them. I would keep moving the case to the end, and if they ask for taxes, then just try to get it done by that point. Mir Hodge says, could you please explain more about the lawsuit? I'll give briefly. I'm not running the lawsuit, so I don't know all the details. But if you want information, the website you have to go to is impactlitigation.com, and then find the Iranian K-1 visa litigation plaintiff onboarding page. When you spell impact litigation, it has 2 M's. IMMPACT, impact with 2 M's, and then litigation.com. And that's where the onboarding information for this is. But they're essentially saying that the fiancé visa should be included, like the marriage case, for exceptions for a travel ban. We'll see what happens with that one. That group that did this lawsuit had success during the one ban that happened during COVID for Iranian fiancés. I had clients get on that, which is good. But I would say go there. Because I'm not writing the lawsuit, so I don't know all the details. I don't want to be safe and not say something incorrect. Coco Bean says, 120 days have passed since my marriage-based green card review. What should I do next? Try writing a letter to the office, the field office that had your interview, and say, hey, could we help you? Is there anything that we could do to keep things going? Instagram user, someone sent a photo message, but I can't really check it out or analyze people's documents here. The Chosen says, do you have to be convicted of a crime, or was it have to be like a pending ongoing case? Any of those, even if you're detained, any issue with the police, tickets or something. The Chosen, I don't remember what the rest of your question was, but if you have any of those situations, you should have an immigration lawyer. Vignesh follows up. We have been assigned to Abu Dhabi, but I got her an entry visa for India. I have family in India. Is it possible to change her interview city to Mumbai? Maybe the appointment will be fast. If she has residency there, you could do that. Or is Yerevan, as fast as relative. Yerevan's going to take a year and a half. It's faster in Abu Dhabi. But they changed the law. So as of I think right in September, November, I can't remember, but they won't allow you to change the embassy unless you have residency or some sort of time to live, legally allowed long-term life in that other country. Okay. Punish says, can the minority exemption apply to a fiance who holds an Afghani passport? I don't know. I don't remember seeing Afghanis be on the list. I don't even know where to find it, but check out DOS cables. Let me see if I can find it. DOS FOIA cables Iran travel ban updates. Okay, oh cool. The first thing that comes up is my website information. Oh, that's good. September 4th. Yeah, that's probably it. Do I have the links to where it is? June cable. Where is the schedule consultation? I can't find it. Oh, here it is. Okay, so please bear with me while I pull up this. I have to download them. I should just download them on my site, but okay. Let's see. Baha'i, Control F, Baha'i. Okay. So Afghans are not listed here, but give it a shot. Who knows? I mean, they might say because you're Afghan, go to Pakistan and do your processing there. So that might be it. Actually, Punisher, if you have a non-Iranian passport, the exception applies. Then again, Afghanistan may be on the trial ban list. I can't remember if it's on it or not. I just leave it because other people are asking questions. Can't remember if Afghanistan is part of the trial ban or not. If it is, then you're going to be a bad situation. They'll just say go to Pakistan and you can't because you're under travel ban. But I don't remember the list of the countries. Trump travel ban countries, Iran. Who is affected? Libya, North Korea, Iran. Let me Control F. Afghanistan. Is it on here? Afghanistan. Well, I don't see it. So initial review, I don't see it. 12. Oh, just full trial ban. It's the first one. So yeah, that's a bad situation, unfortunately. So I don't think it'll apply. I'd have to look into it, spend time thinking about it to see if there's an exception. But off the top of my head, I can't say it. But again, consult an immigration attorney in private about your case. Okay. Yasser says, hi, John. Can we talk about the DV lottery winners' benefits, restrictions, and why it takes too long to process the DS2? Thanks. It didn't take long to process the DS60. You just got to send it in and wait for embassy interview. What is the exact question you have? Mixon says, why is it that when bird... I don't know, Mixon. I don't know. That's the way it works. Yasser says, I won my asylum May 2025. September, I won my marriage-based green card, 10-year green card. What documents can I travel? Well, if you use your marriage-based green card, technically, you could probably travel with your home country passport, but it calls into question your asylum case. To be really clean about it, you should request refugee travel documents, not travel to your home country, and get visas when you want to go to the countries with your refugee travel document. That would be the safest way to do it. 29 Super C, good to see you. Hey, Terry Kostrari, I hope you're doing well. Any indication of when revised citizenship questions will come to the fore? Probably sometime this year. They're working on it, but they haven't announced it yet. But they're going to probably get it in this year sometime. You're welcome, Punisher. Mback says, I have a temporary I-551 pending I-751. Can I travel? As I've mentioned previously, technically, if you have that, a person could travel. Whether you can travel, I can't say because I don't have enough information about your personal background. Mir follows up, can we postpone the interview date? How many times is it possible to postpone? Please explain the costs and downsides. So historically, I would postpone these cases all the time. Hey, buddy, I'm in a meeting. I would, no problem. But they're gonna get more strict about it. Where if you postpone it and they don't think it's like appropriate, they might deny your case. This is a recent thing a colleague told me about because we used to postpone all the time, especially when the travel bans, and it was okay. They would just say, okay, just contact us when you want to do the meeting. But don't postpone right now. And it's a weird situation. What kind of risks you want to have? You can postpone it. They may say, okay, reschedule. They postpone it. They may deny you. So it's kind of all up in the air right now. You're welcome, 29 Super C. Good to hear from you again. Tiffy says, have you ever dealt with a case where the I-485 approved, but the card takes a long time to print? Yeah, that happens, unfortunately. Sometimes it gets printed and the post office loses it. So call USCIS if it's been a month. Make sure they haven't issued it, if they did what address it went to, and sometimes it takes 7 or 8 months. The getting an interview date in Pakistan is really bad. So it's going to take a year and a half out or something like that. Let me see how much it is right now. But super backed up getting an interview in Pakistan, Punisher. The website is DOS IV Tools, the first link IV scheduling status tool for the Department of State. When you click on that, if it's loading, you go to immediate relative in Islamabad. They're saying once you're documentarily qualified, November 2024. So it's better than it usually is, but 11 months to get an interview date. But I'm not sure how reliable that one is. BHJ says LPR I-130 pending with USCIS. Wife is abroad for visa bulletin. I look at the final action date or the date of filing. You look at the final action date for if your spouse is abroad. But getting I-130s approved for LPRs is backed up right now. It takes years. Hopefully it gets faster. Dr. Ahmed says, I have a pending application for global entry. Can I travel outside with my green card? I don't handle global entry issues, so I don't want to advise on that. Tiffy says, it's been 21 days since my I-45 approved, no card. USCIS is not helping. Wait 30 days and then see if they mail it or not. 21 days is not that much for immigration. Sometimes, 8 out of 10 times you get it in 2 weeks. 1 out of 10 times the post office just loses it, and 1 out of 10 times it takes 8 or 9 months. So, that's it. I mean, which one are you going to be? Hopefully you're part of the 8 out of 10, but it seems like it's not happening. All right, we only got a couple more minutes left in the show. Always says future of EB2 NIW is just going to get more and more hard. That's it. You got to really have a good background for it and work really hard on prepping the petition package. NIWs are national interest waiver. It means you're doing work that's so important for the national interest of the United States that we're just going to give you a green card. And so that's an EB2C is a code for it. But, it just gets harder and harder. There was a period of time during the Biden administration, as long as you had a graduate degree, especially in STEM science and stuff, they were just really easy about it. But those days died in the last year of Biden's and just getting worse. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. Tiffy asks, it could take 8 or 9 months to get green card printed. Yeah, they just kind of lose track of things. That happens. Aditya asks, hey, it's been 130 days after my marriage-based green card. What should I do? No update, New Jersey. We have another case in New Jersey that's taking that long. I sent him a letter. Nothing has happened. So it's a mess. Try sending a letter too. Luciana says, I'm under F2A, legally in the U.S. Priority date is, okay, I'm getting a lot of questions at once. So is June 2025 with new visa bulletin. Can I apply for adjustment status in October? Do I need to wait? You probably can, but I can't advise you do something or do not do something on a show like this, but most likely you can, but you have to look into all your details. Peter says, I do my I-751 and Informer interview on September 9th. When I check online, I see my I-751 still processing, but I passed my interview. How long is it taking my oath ceremony? There's no fixed times on this stuff. They may have forgotten to update the online system for I-751. Doesn't mean you weren't approved for that. But how long it takes oath ceremony depends on how busy they are. Brahima asks, I have 3 speeding tickets convictions 3 years ago. All the records are 100% clean. Is that safer to file naturalization now? It's based on the changes of the Trump administration. There's discretion of the officer whether they'll think that's bad or good and stuff like that. You got to show that you're going to school, you're making money and taking care of your family and that kind of stuff, because the officer could have that as a negative indicator. HP says, if miscommunication happens in the citizenship interview, what is the next phase? Well, miscommunication is very vague. What is it that's the problem? So if you're worried about something like that, then have an immigration attorney with you or have them do the case and go with you to your interview to try to jump in there if miscommunication is happening. All right, everybody. Tiffy says, can you get a temporary stamp in the meanwhile for the green card? Yeah. You have to argue with USCIS for it to have a need, but that's possible. I'll be back here next Tuesday, 4 p.m. Pacific. If you want to schedule a private consultation, go to the website, jqqlaw.com/contact. Until then, have a good one. God bless. Be safe.